right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Buddies and a Lot of Conspiracies. Now, I know we took last month off. It was a bad month because we both had vacations, and it was our birthday months too. So it was actually a good month. But yeah, so we took a little bit longer to get back onto track here, I'll say. And look soon. You're gonna see some gaming videos from us too. But at the moment, we are going to discuss Chapter 4, which is the Babylonian Brotherhood. And Eddie, what do you know so much, or what do you know as far as the Babylonian Brotherhood, and have you ever heard of it before?
Just a little bit that you kind of brought up in our conversations, but sometimes I like to jump into it not knowing a whole lot of stuff, just a little bit,
Well, I think that
just to give it
works.
that little.
I think that works out probably better if you don't know nothing about it, and then I show you shit, and you're like, oh no, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that works better at the end of the day.
and what was
But
your where did you leave off? Do you remember where you left off with your threat level?
it was at
Threat level
it was
midnight.
a 3.5.
Okay. All right, so Eddie's at a 3.5, and I almost feel like you might. I don't know, man. There's some convincing stuff in here, but then there's also some stuff where you're like probably gonna be like, oh, well, that's probably all bullshit. But we got to remember everything's all bullshit. We've been lied to about every single thing. Um, so I've got the book here, Babylonian Brotherhood, and surprisingly, it is a page and a half from our guy Johnny Lewis, who doesn't like to give a lot of topics, a lot of things to breathe. But next topic is going to be about barcodes and the Bank of Commerce, which he talks about a lot. So that one's going to be an interesting one to go over. But I'll read the first. Yeah, let me just read this first paragraph, and then the last paragraph where he says his alert level, right? All right, so remember V, the science fiction TV series where reptilian humanoids took over the Earth? Which there's actually been two. There was one in the 80s, and then there's one in the 2000s, and I've actually got clips. So you'll see a little bit of that. David Icke does. According to the New Age guru and conspiracist, 12-foot, 3.66 meter lizards from the planet Draco have colonized Earth above and below ground and organized into the Babylonian Brotherhood. Rule it through such global elites as the Illuminati and the Bilderberg Group. The Babylonian Brotherhood are externally convincing as humans, but their reptilian humanoid DNA courses through the veins of the world's rulers. Indeed, it is precisely this hybrid genetic plus which gives them the necessary attributes for ruling. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the British royal family, and the ruling political and economic families of the U.S. and the rest of the world come from the same bloodlines, the reptilian mammalian DNA. Okay, so that's like the first chapter and a half there, or not chapter. Yeah, that's the first paragraph and a half there. And then in the back, I'll just read the last two sentences. That's a long paragraph. Reemerging as the clarion sounder against the Brotherhood, Icke is a fluent, persuasive, telegenic communicator, a natural politician, which raises a dreadful possibility. If he is so gifted a leader, might Icke be a lizard disguised as a human himself? I mean, I don't think so. I actually been following David Icke for like 20 plus years. And then here's his threat level. You ready? The world is run by reptiles disguised as humans. Alert level 1. So he does not believe at all that they rule the world. Now,
There's nothing wrong.
yeah, don't look over here. Look over there. But honestly, I think you're the one that told me about that little animated show that was on Netflix that had the two seasons, one forgettable season, which is season 2, and then season 1, which got a lot of fame and credit, and everybody watched it, and then they canceled it right after, right?
exactly when it was still like I believe like 2 3 weeks into it when they fairly or like came out, and then they're just like, yep, just cancel now.
Can't have this.
Like they didn't even give it like it was not even like let it have a little bit of time. No,
Mm,
no, no. It's like it was still like on the, it tells you like the
top
number
charts or
one,
whatever.
like
Yeah.
top 10, yeah, shows. It was still on there when they canceled it. I was like, damn,
Which is
they
surprising.
did not, they did not want to wait
Now, well,
to
I think,
cancel it.
well, I watched the first season, and obviously they're doing like jokey stuff in the whole thing. But after the first season, when they got to the second season, I realized that they somehow ran out of conspiracies, even though there's a million conspiracies out there. So there's no way that they can really do that. But they did. They did. They ran out of ideas, I guess, because it was like a they just changed it completely. It wasn't really about conspiracies in the second season. It was about like the one dumb girl being in relationships, and it's like okay, so they just made it like a normal sitcom-y kind of thing, which I can understand why they canceled after that. They probably had no ideas. Christian Slater, though, I'm glad to see him working. I like Christian Slater. He might be a reptile too. Who knows? Um, but so okay, so you don't know much about that. You've never seen the V show, right?
No,
Okay. All right. So this is all going to be pretty interesting for you, I think. So first, huh?
a lot of new stuff,
Yeah. This should
pretty
uh,
much.
this should blow your brains out a little bit. So I'll just go through what we got listed here. So I got a JFK clip, which is actually a really good JFK clip. Um, Then Brotherhood clip, which is like information about the Babylonian Brotherhood, and then information about Babylon in a clip, and then the Hammurabi Code, which I don't know if a lot of people know about that. I'm sure they probably do, but the Hammurabi Code is actually kind of what we still base our laws on today. So it's actually kind of interesting to look back at that. And then David Icke is going to be in here. You're going to see him a couple of times just because he's the main subject of the whole chapter for the guy. And he's talked to a lot of people and seen a lot of things. So I'm going to try not to swear. So he's seen a lot of things. So definitely someone to kind of listen to and at least hear what he's got to say, you know. Then I got a quick little inside job. That's that cartoon we were talking about that was on Netflix. And then a couple of V clips, which I think I don't know how long that whole thing is, but I put some V clips together where you'll see it's actually kind of interesting. And then there's a Greg Reese clip, which Greg Reese is on Substack. He used to be on Infowars and Band.video. You can watch a lot of those. That's actually where the clip came from, was Band.videos. That's an Infowars like video dump, which is good. Talks about this subject, and then Vice, which Vice is owned by Disney, so like anything that's more recent from Vice is going to be like poo-pooing everything, whereas stuff from like a while back, they actually had journalists that actually went and like looked at things and figured out things, and then I think that's it then. So, any questions from Eddie before
Uh,
we run into the first thing here?
Side note.
Yeah.
Was that like journalist, the girl journalist that was like very very famous? That used to be like in the middle of all this stuff. Was she part of Vice, or I'm mistaken?
I don't know who you're talking
I
about.
don't know if you remember. It was like this. She was like a very very famous journalist. I can't remember if she worked for Vice or who was it, but she like used to go like straight up like and stuff like if there was like gangs or like a war and stuff like that, she would be like she would have a report on it. She was very famous for that.
You don't know her name or
Can't
nothing?
believe. No, I can't remember her name.
Wait, are you gonna say you can't believe I don't remember? Like, you don't know her
Yeah,
name.
because I should not know about these TV shows.
Well, what was it on? Was it on like NBC, ABC? Was it
I
on?
I just I don't know if I think she was in Vice,
Okay.
but it was a long time ago. I was very young.
Okay. I honestly didn't really know about Vice until like the past like 5-10 years. So I don't know if I mean we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, and then I'll put a graphic of the person's face so that everyone can research it. We'll put that up here afterwards. Yeah. Okay.
But the only thing I remember, it was like when I was young, I remember like my brothers talking about her, like, damn, like she goes like to all these places, and like it was. But I just want to know the network she was at.
Oh yeah. I don't know. We'll try to figure it out. We'll try to figure it out, and then we can all research a little bit further. I actually do have a question for you, Eddie.
Shoot it.
Did you buy those pants like that with the holes, or have you been falling a lot with the reptilian chasing us?
It was a spin on the floor.
That's it. I do like this graphic. This is actually pretty good. Yeah. Okay. Other than that, any other questions you got before we roll the JFK clip?
No, yeah, good. We can go.
Okay. All right.
Go for it.
Here we go.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
Yep.
The report is that the president is dead. The word we have is that he is dead. That he was,
I think it was like 2
shot
weeks
by an assassin
after that.
at the intersection of Elm and Houston Streets just as he was going into the underpass. The word we have is from a doctor on the staff of Parkland Hospital who says that it is true. He was in tears when he told me just a moment ago.
Yeah. So, what do you think of that so far?
Well, I don't know. It's just crazy. I did not know that he had said that before.
No, right? He was
No.
against all the different secret societies out there, and he was, gonna try to put an end to it. And then also he went against the CIA, and that's also what probably brought him down. But no, honestly, his words there make a lot of sense. We should be able to criticize our government. We should have everything aired out so everyone can see it and hear it. That's like all this secret shit has got to stop, man. There's no reason that everything should all be so secretive.
But he should be able to express their thoughts.
Yeah.
I think that's the best
Absolutely.
way to say it.
And you should be able to criticize the government, especially since like the government ain't there to help us. They say they are, but everything they get involved in makes everything worse. Like the war against drugs, what happened? They kept having more drug dealers out there, and it's the war against drugs really should be the war against the CIA, but whatever. I won't say that out loud, I guess. Biggest drug dealers.
I remember seeing this this docuseries, and it was like a whole thing about this person getting killed back in the day, and they show like pictures of whoever was involved in that whole thing, and there's like always a CIA agent amongst them.
Of course.
I was like, there you go.
He's
I think even the guy that was a CIA agent, I think he was part of the docuseries, and he was talking all about it. I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
Well, therein lies the big problem with a lot of these places. Is like you have both sides of the spectrum. That's just like they talk about like the races all have different sides of the spectrum. So like white guys have, you got your normal guys, and then you got your hillbillies or your rednecks kind of thing, and it's like same thing with everything. There's good politicians, bad politicians. There's good CIA agent, bad CIA agents. There's good FBI, bad FBI, and it's just a matter of probably money that throws you down the other side of it all. But yeah, like there's been a lot of CIA whistleblowers that have come out and spoke against the CIA, and sure enough, they don't really make it. But yeah, it's just insane, man. Absolutely insane. We need to have more exposure on what all these activities are doing, or what all these agencies are doing. Like their activities a lot of times aren't for the benefit of us, I'll say.
It's likely.
Right. Any other questions about JFK? His speech?
No. Just very shocked that was something that took place.
Yeah, you never heard that before, right?
It was the first time.
That's good. Good. See, there we go. All right. So now, this right here is, and you don't know nothing about the Babylonian Brotherhood. So this is going to be a quick little thing about it. I forget exactly where I heard this, but all my links, all the videos, all the links and everything are going to be listed in the comment section, and then I will put timestamps on everything, and hopefully it actually chapters it all out. It's funny. It chapters everything in my other stuff, but it doesn't for some reason seem to chapter everything out when I put it in this. So we'll fingers crossed YouTube will not say F you. We ain't putting your chapters in. I don't care if you timestamp. But regardless, you'll see the timestamps down in the comment section, so you guys can skip ahead or rewatch and re-see things. But yeah, this right here is the Babylonian Brotherhood. Any questions before we roll into this topic you know nothing about?
So I guess it's better not to have questions and then get questions from watching it.
Yeah, you might have some questions after seeing this. So okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's roll.
The very dawn of civilization, when humanity's first cities were still cloaked in shadow, a powerful secret society quietly emerged. These mysterious priests, hidden behind the throne, silently shaped the fate of empires and dynasties. But is there any truth behind the legends of the Babylonian Brotherhood? Could they still be pulling the strings of today's world from behind the scenes, disguised beneath the surface of a global power network? It's time to uncover history's darkest secrets, stories buried beneath the sands for thousands of years. Welcome to Bedtime History. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel as we dive deep into humanity's greatest mysteries. The origins of the Babylonian Brotherhood take us back more than 4,000 years to a land once seen as the cradle of ultimate power. In the fertile region between the legendary Tigris and Euphrates rivers, ancient Babylon rose up, becoming a symbol of greatness in the ancient world. Here, humanity saw for the first time the birth of large cities, massive architectural wonders, and a civilization that reached unprecedented levels of sophistication. Babylon's fortified walls, legendary hanging gardens that seemed to float in the sky, and majestic temples turned it into the brightest jewel of the ancient world, attracting awe and admiration from far and wide. Babylon was also a hub for ancient knowledge, science, and law. Its scholars and priests studied astronomy, mathematics, and crafted humanity's earliest legal codes, such as Hammurabi's Code, rules that laid the foundations for social order, demonstrating the deep insight of Babylon's rulers. Speaking of rulers, Babylon's history is marked by powerful kings who not only controlled vast territories but also proclaimed themselves representatives of the gods. Most famous among them was Hammurabi, the legendary king from the 18th century BCE who unified fragmented lands into an empire of unprecedented might, lifting Babylon to its peak of power. Babylon's greatness didn't stop with Hammurabi. The city continued to shine under other extraordinary rulers, notably Nebuchadnezzar II, who transformed Babylon into one of the wonders of the ancient world. He built the magnificent Ishtar Gate, decorated with symbols of power like dragons and lions, and the legendary Hanging Gardens, structures whose existence is still debated today, symbols of Babylon's lavishness and mystery. But Babylon's strength wasn't limited to physical power alone. The city was also a center of spiritual and mystical authority. The temple priests, with exceptional knowledge of astronomy and astrology, held critical roles in society, sometimes surpassing even the kings. Believed capable of communicating directly with the gods, these priests influenced the fate of the empire through their prophecies and mystical rituals. It's this blend of political and spiritual power that gave rise to the Babylonian Brotherhood, a secretive organization operating from the shadows, influencing every significant decision within the kingdom. According to scattered historical records and ancient legends, even the mightiest rulers of Babylon may have been subtly guided by this hidden power. But how credible are these legends about the Babylonian Brotherhood? Did an ancient, secret power network really exist, quietly influencing Babylonian society from magnificent palaces to the deepest hidden corners? Thousands of years later, the legendary city of Babylon now lies in ruins, but the mysteries it left behind still fascinate researchers. Monumental buildings, lost knowledge, and especially the potential existence of a secret organization capable of manipulating historical events, all are still waiting to be fully understood. Ultimately, this is not just a story of a single empire or era. It's about invisible threads of power woven through human history, stretching from ancient Babylon right up to the present day, silently influencing our modern world. To truly understand this mysterious influence, we must journey deep into the shadows of the past, where history's greatest secrets are slowly being revealed. The first clear signs of the Babylonian Brotherhood emerged from ancient clay tablets unearthed at the very heart of this ancient empire. These mysterious cuneiform writings tell of a powerful group of priests known as the Guardians of Sacred Knowledge, who held secrets far beyond the grasp of ordinary people. These ancient records vividly describe the hidden power these priests wielded, not just in religious matters, but deeply embedded in politics, military strategies, and every major decision within the Babylonian Empire. One of the most remarkable clay tablets discovered by archaeologists in an ancient temple recounts an intriguing meeting between King Hammurabi and a secretive group of priests. The ancient text cryptically mentions these chosen by the gods, individuals who never appeared publicly but secretly shaped Babylon's destiny through their hidden counsel and prophecies.
Okay, I thought I ended it there. So, what do you think of that, Mr. Eddie?
Kind of a little bit confused.
I believe
because
it's kind of confusing. What are you confused on?
just like the whole because I remember like Babylonia, like
Babylon.
from back in the
What
day,
they taught you for all of 30 seconds in school.
like the civilization it was and everything, and how it was like so like respected or feared, and then like if I'm not mistaken, it just disappeared. Correct?
Yeah,
like,
pretty
it's
much.
just
Pretty much. It was like taken over. Because there's a lot of fighting and fighting and fighting. And I want to say the next video I have kind of gives like a brief little bit of WTF with Babylon. Let's see. Yeah, so... Yeah, so this will give you a little bit. This should give you a little bit. But that one video that we just watched is like an hour and a half long. And so, obviously, I wasn't going to sit here and make everybody watch something for an hour and a half. They can just watch it themselves. So...
Yes. You guys gotta watch this video with us.
That's it. We're just going to watch and comment as we do it and give credit to the YouTube creator who actually put it together. Yeah, so I'll put, like I said, I'll put all the links there so that everybody can sit and learn a little bit more about Babylon. Honestly, we all probably should learn a little bit more about Babylon because there are some interesting things that when you see, like... the other thing I didn't put in, so I didn't put in a couple of things in this because it would be like a 4 to 5 hour discussion that me and you were going to have. And I know some people like to watch things for no more than like 20 minutes. So the things I did not put in was the Sumerians Kings list, which if you Google, if not Google, well, you could Google search it, but if you YouTube search it or look up on like Rumble or BitChute, or even like I said, YouTube. If you type in the Sumerian Kings list, it'll give you a little more information about it too. There's one guy that I found that's pretty good. I'll put that in the links too, where he literally went through all of the Sumerian kings list and showed you this king, this king, this king, this king, because there's been a lot of names that have been switched over, and a lot of it actually goes along with the biblical text. So like all the stuff that we see in the Bible, they just like renamed a lot of these guys and put it in there, but the stories are the same. Like the Sumerian kings list actually shows of all the different kings through all the different times, different battles, different wars, switching over. One thing that people got to look at too is the Enuma Elish. Actually, my mom sent me this book because she was talking about Babylon. She's like, "Oh, I'll send this to you." So she sent it to me. But it's the Babylonian creation epic, which is Enuma Elish. I've read like 10 pages so far. But it's actually only 100 pages, so I feel kind of sad that I haven't accomplished that small feat. But I haven't been reading a lot, so it took me longer to read it than I thought. And I went on vacation, and I brought it with me, and I read the first like 2 pages, and I'm like, okay, good. Now let me watch videos and melt my brain. But yeah, so there's a lot of different information out there about these previous civilizations. One other person I would always recommend everybody look at is Zecharia Sitchin, who deciphered the Sumerian tablets, because the Sumerian tablets play into this too. where we were actually created to mine gold. So there's a lot of different information out there, a lot of different things that will kind of be like, oh, I never realized that. Oh, I never saw that. Oh, different things. Kind of like your journey here through all of this cover up stuff so far has been like, oh, really? Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of things out there that we should all probably learn more about, because we don't realize how much this stuff actually probably does control our lives. The one thing that still always amazes me is looking at some of these old world buildings and then looking at the shacks that we all live in now that are all wood and tin and nonsense. Okay, what were you saying before? You were still confused, right?
No, yeah, I was still like, and you said that.
Oh yeah,
this video was going to explain a little bit more. About it.
This should give a little bit more information about Babylon. And then I want to say I did like a 2-clipper in this one. I think I put 2 clips together. Yeah, I think so. So we'll watch that here in a second. Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about things I did not include. Sumerian Kings list is something I didn't include. And what the hell was the other thing I was thinking about? Oh, all the holidays. So it's interesting, but a lot of the holidays that we have either share pagan religion holidays, like I think Halloween is a pagan holiday, and then also there's a lot of births of the gods from like the Babylonian time period and Sumerian Kings list that are also holidays, because like they tell us that Christmas is Jesus is born, right? And they show us the image of you got the guys coming out of, what were they? What were the three guys that came?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus, that guy. What were the three guys that came?
I can't remember the name in I can't remember the name in English. Man.
Say it in Spanish.
I know what they're called. They're called the Reyes Magos. That's what they.
That
that's
doesn't
what they're
help
called.
me. Okay.
No.
I don't know, but whatever. The 3 guys that came, and then the shining star and the sick guy, and all these things, right? But yet, when you look at actually like the history of Jesus, he wasn't born on Christmas. So like they just lied to us about that. So that date is another holiday. But yeah, there's a lot of holidays out there to where you can actually look at other religion holidays and see, oh, we've been celebrating all these random things. So there's a whole nother thing, which when you're ready for it, we'll get you there. But you need to be at like threat level 9 or 10 before we can start talking about that. Right now, we're going to keep it kind of basic. Just to kind of info. But all right, so you ready for a little more information about Babylon? Hopefully clear up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. And so finally we arrived at Babylon, the most famous, the most notorious, and the most splendid, the most excoriated, the most admired, the most vilified city.
In the year 1894 BC, a relatively unknown Amorite chieftain named Sumuabem established a small kingdom along what was then the eastern banks of the Euphrates River. There was nothing really special about this area, other than that it possessed some decent farmland and a small city that in the local Akkadian language was called Babylu, which one translation reads as Gateway of the Gods. Scholars believe that the original name may have been Babur or Babir, which simply means pale, white, or bright in the old Sumerian language. Most of us today know the city by the name Babylon.
Honestly, a lot of these things are really boring.
Babylon had once been a regional administrative center during the reigns of the great kings of the Neo-Sumerian Empire, who ruled from the city of Ur towards the end of the 3rd millennium BC. Scholars today refer to this group of kings as the 3rd dynasty of Ur, since there are only 2 other known dynasties from Ur that preceded it. These kings, of which there were 5, ruled over a relatively enlightened society where the arts and literature were promoted in the Old Sumerian language, laws were enacted by the rulers for the benefit of most of the population, and international trade flourished as far as India and Egypt. Controlling a network of territories and tributaries that extended from the eastern Mediterranean Sea all the way to central Iran, at its height, the Neo-Sumerian Empire was the most powerful and wealthiest state ever to have existed in early antiquity. By the time that Sumu Abum and his followers settled into their new home along the Euphrates River, the Neo-Sumerian Empire had been long gone. In its place was a patchwork of petty states, whose rulers may have called themselves kings, but who in reality were little more than warlords who raided each other's territories for silver, slaves, and women.
Absolutely.
Sumu Abum, though, seems to have wanted more, a legacy.
Dates are important, Eddie. I'm going to be testing you
Over
afterwards.
time, and with the improvements and investments made by himself and his early successors, Babylon
you're gonna be
will
tested.
grow into a sizable city known for its fine, colorful textiles. However, in the centuries that followed, the city would become the focal point of the land that would eventually bear its name, Babylonia.
Babylonia.
This is the story of a great civilization that revolved around a city and its patron deity, Marduk.
Yeah, Marduk.
It's a story of progress, destruction, glory, great kings, and their noble and often nefarious deeds. And of course, of the people who lived in this marvelous land. A place that has captured the imagination of mankind from ancient times until the modern day. It's the story of Babylon, the city once at the center of the world.
The 3rd to 1st centuries BC, Mesopotamia saw the rise and fall of several political entities. Sargon of Akkad at the very end of the 3rd century founded the Akkadian Empire, perhaps the earliest in history. Later, Hammurabi established the Great Babylonian Empire, making the city of Babylon a major cultural center, a position that it would hold for the rest of Mesopotamia's history. The Babylonians were later also challenged by the mighty Assyrians in the north, and even though dynasties rose and fell, the empires never remaining stable, this is perhaps the most famous image of ancient Mesopotamia: Babylonia in the south and Assyria in the north, both of which would have great empires, consume each other, and generally have a very uneven relationship. But they are still considered to have been part of a unified, quote-unquote, Mesopotamian civilization. For most of history, Akkadian was the official language in the whole region, and most importantly for this episode, they shared essentially the same religious tradition. So in all this, what was the religion of the ancient Mesopotamians? Well, at its core, it was a polytheistic religion, which means that it involved many different deities, myths about those deities, and rituals aimed at keeping the relationship between humans and those deities on good terms. It is therefore a religious tradition that is very familiar and similar to other polytheistic religions in antiquity. So if you know a thing or two about ancient Egyptian religion or ancient Greek religion and ancient Arabian religion perhaps, you will recognize a lot of things here too. And just as in all those societies, religion and the religious cult was an essential part of life and society to the ancient Mesopotamians. It was essential for the very maintenance of the world and its order, for the health of the individual and his society, and, as is usually the case, it was essential for the state and for the king or emperor, whose authority and legitimacy often rested on his connection to the gods or his role as supervisor of the cult. Religion, in other words, was an integral part of every aspect of life, running through the very veins of Mesopotamian society. Because we can't talk to the people who lived this tradition or directly be in that context, we can never grasp the full extent of what this religion was. Since it is, in essence, an extinct tradition, we have to rely on historical sources from that period, sources, thus, from millennia ago. This means archaeological finds like temples and buildings or other objects, but above all, it means writings and documents that refer to religious practice or sentiment in some way. We have hymns and prayers to the gods which give us some idea of how these things functioned. But this also means that we are limited to the perspectives of only one section of the population, the elites, mostly because they were the ones that had the ability to read and write these things down. Not only that, but we're also limited to the particular things that they thought were important to write down and document, which in many cases might have been the least important things when it comes to their religious tradition.
Right.
In short, we are limited when it comes to our understanding of the Mesopotamian religion because of the limits of our sources.
Yeah, I stopped it there because therein lies the whole thing, man. It's the elites and the people that supposedly deciphered all these things and told us what the history is instead of actually seeing what it really was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, you gotta believe me.
Right.
This is what actually happened.
This is reality. Look over here. Don't look over there. See, that's the thing. They've been doing this forever, where they've been controlling the script forever. So, like, literally, the big issue with, if you want to sit and learn about Babylon, like the actual information about Babylon, it's going to take lots of books, lots of deciphering, and especially if you know how to read the Sumerian tablets, that'd help you out. But I don't think any of us know cuneiform or anything like that. They stopped teaching us that a long time ago. I don't know if they ever taught it. But it's all controlled by the elites. It's all controlled by the people that don't want you to know anything because they're controlling everything. So you ain't going to get much information besides dates of things supposedly happening, conquering this land, wars on this. It's very difficult to actually find out WTF, like what's actually happening. What did that really shed any light on your questions? Probably not, right?
But it's like I already had some grasp of like what Babylonia was, and like they used to talk about it all the time, and like how big of a society, like how everything, like the infrastructure, pretty much. I think that's like the biggest thing that I remember. Just like their city, just in general, how it was, and like that was the always thing that got me. Like, oh my god, like you guys always portray like the city as this. And it was so great, and like the architecture was great, and then it's just like, oh, one day it just disappeared.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows. It's just like this. It was supposed to be here. Trust me.
Yeah, right.
It was here.
Believe it. Believe it. This is what we did. This is what happened, and it was all based on wars, and that's why it's not as nice as it used to be. The thing that still amazes me is all like. There's a lot of different things in in this creation epic that they have that talks about them separating, which again goes along with the Bible where he tells, these people went this way, these people went this way. There's a lot of stuff in these things that we view as, oh, it's biblical, it happened so long ago, but for anybody who's paying somewhat attention to a lot of these different things, it probably wasn't as long as we think it was. It wasn't as long ago as we think it really was. They keep resetting everything, Eddie. I know you're not there yet. You're not at threat level 8 or 9, but that's the reality. They reset us all, and they give us less and less and less each time that they reset us, so that way we can't figure out our true capabilities and our true reality. It's crazy. It's crazy. Eddie needs a beer, I think.
It's just, it's crazy.
It really is.
That's just the word. It's crazy.
It really is. It's wild. It's wild. Like this guy's beard. It's very wild.
That's not nice.
I like his beard. He's trying. I'm glad
He wants to have one.
He's trying real hard to have a beard, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy's actually pretty good. He has a lot of different things about religions. So both of these clips, both of these videos will be in the link that I put out there. But yeah, as far as it goes with Babylon, as far as information about Babylon, there's a ton of kings and rulers that they had over the time. Biggest, most notable one's going to be Hammurabi, and Marduk is another one, which he was also a god. So there's a lot of different gods that they all would, again, like some of our holidays are going to show. They were, same dates that they celebrated them back then. And so yeah, like the whole thing with you've heard that when they translated the Bible from Latin, right, that it was actually supposed to say gods, or I think it still says gods in one of the books, right?
Yeah.
So
I do remember that.
Yeah, so that's a reality. It's all supposed to be something more, which once I don't know if it'll ever come up in this book, but there's other stuff out there where it talks about like the God that we're believing in is supposedly like an impersonation of like the actual God. Just wanted to take over. There's also stuff about Satan that's supposed to be like he's a good guy as opposed to a bad guy. But then still begs the question when you see these people that actually go to the Church of Satan, they look pretty satanic. Like they look pretty.
Oh.
They look like I wouldn't want to be in that group, if you know what I mean. Like I'd be like, oh, orientation day. Okay, so this is not a group that I want to be in. Yeah, so we should all try to be as positive, happy, and loving as possible. I will say it like that, which is a little bit different.
And that's the only way.
It is the only way. It is the only way. All right, so no other questions as far as...
I just want to throw a quick side note. I love how you clown the guy for his beard.
Yeah.
And then, but he's a great guy,
Yeah.
He does a lot of great videos.
Yeah, he does. He does. And you just got to get over the beard thing. I don't know. I'm me personally, I like having a nice trimmed beard, something that looks, unfortunately professional. But maybe there is something to having, long hairy beard. He's got long hair too. Looks like he needs a haircut also. Like if that were me out there, I'd have a nice trimmed beard and a nice bro cut before I'd put myself on video. But that's me. That's me. So
that's me.
Yeah. I have certain preferences that I like to keep with. So okay, this next thing is the Hammurabi Code, which you haven't... This is a quick video, and then I want to say I think I got a slides where we're going to have to read a little bit. But as of right now, Mr. Eddie doesn't know much about Hammurabi, correct?
Unfortunately, yes. I do not know
Okay.
a lot about Hammurabi.
Hammurabi. You got to say it fast. Okay. All right. So, any questions before we head into this one?
No, we're good.
Nada? Okay. All right. Let's do it. Hammurabi. Here we go.
One Babylonian text from the time states, rather poetically, what Hammurabi did. When he took Mari and the towns in that area, he destroyed the walls and changed the landscape into hills and ruins. With more money and men, Hammurabi's final years were spent annexing other territories into his growing empire, especially in northern Mesopotamia. While to some, it may seem that Hammurabi was always at war, military campaigns were not his only focus. Documents from various parts of Babylonia indicate that much of Hammurabi's time was devoted to running affairs of state, building temples, constructing forts, maintaining canals, and working out trade agreements with neighboring kingdoms. The information that scholars have obtained from accounting texts and letters to his subordinates show that Hammurabi was obsessed with even the minor details of governing. It's during his final years that Hammurabi consolidated what would become his famous code of laws. With nearly 300 different laws covering everything from theft, murder, financial transactions, money laundering, marriage, personal injuries, debt, workers' wages, farming, land management, inheritance, and everything in between, Hammurabi's law code is the longest and best organized legal collection that we know of from ancient Mesopotamia. Though in widespread use for centuries after his death, it was also heavily influenced by older legal traditions, both written and oral. Many of the punishments in Hammurabi's code were quite harsh, not just by our standards today, but also when compared to earlier Sumerian law codes, where the punishment could often be mitigated or even annulled with a simple fine. Examples from Hammurabi's code include the following. If a woman innkeeper should refuse to accept grain for the price of beer, but accepts only silver measured by the large weight, thereby reducing the value of beer in relation to the value of grain, they shall charge and convict that woman innkeeper, and they shall cast her into the water. If a man should blind the eye of another man, they shall blind his eye.
That's it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
However, such laws did not apply equally to all members of society.
This is the part you got to hear.
Punishments varied according to one's social class. For example, in the law just mentioned regarding blinding, the term for a man or person is awilu, meaning one from the elite or upper class. If the same offense was committed against a commoner or a slave, then the sentence was often much more lenient. In the next two laws, the person committing the crime is one from the elite awilu class. If he should blind the eye of a commoner or break the bone of a commoner, he shall weigh and deliver 60 shekels of silver. If he should blind the eye of an awilu's slave or break the bone of an awilu's slave, he shall weigh and deliver 1/2 of his value in silver. Not all laws carried such heavy punishments. In fact, there were many provisions within the code to help out those who may have been suffering from circumstances beyond their control, like the following law demonstrates. If a man has a debt lodged against him, and the storm god, Adad, devastates his field, or a flood sweeps away the crops, or there is no grain grown in the field due to insufficient water, in that year he will not repay grain to his creditor. He shall suspend performance of his contract, and he will not give interest payments for a year.
That's better than our laws today.
In the end, Hammurabi transformed Babylon from a relatively mid-sized kingdom into an empire that at its height covered pretty much all of Iraq and much of eastern Syria.
Iraq.
However, it wouldn't last, as his successors seem to have had neither his charisma nor, perhaps more importantly, the capability to govern and hold together such a vast domain.
So honestly, the joke of the whole thing is, so if you had some rich elite person, like we've seen in the P. Diddy trials, but if you had some rich person that was caught doing something bad, what do? They just pay money, right?
That's it.
That's it. They get out of it. It's hush money, or it's, hey, we're going to just settle. Whereas you take a poor person and they cut his eye out and they blind him back. It's like that's kind of similar. Well, they throw him in jail, I guess, here now. But yeah, like, so some of those things are still similar today. There's been a lot of those codes that really have influenced the way that we create our laws. The funny thing was, like, I like the one there where he's talking about, hey, it's going to help people, whereas you're a farmer and you can't produce any crops. Our banksters today would be like, don't care, sell your farm. Whereas back then it'd be like, hey, you know what? Next year we'll make it up to you next year. So it's actually better than our laws today. But that's because the bankers own everything today, so they create the laws, they create everything. And the Babylonian Brotherhood are in charge still today, so they actually do a bunch of weird stuff too. So what'd you learn from this Hammurabi Code?
Don't fuck with the beer.
Yeah, you'll be cast out into the water. They got her good,
It's
man.
like,
They got her good.
Yes. It's like so drastic.
It really is.
It's like, oh yeah, you want to fuck with my beer? All right, yeah, this is what you get.
That's it. Dead.
That's fantastic.
Exiled from the community.
Over some beer.
That's it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like when you look over through time, it's like the things that they put importance on versus the stuff they put importance on today. It's like today the big importance thing is just making sure you pay the banks. Everything else is secondary. Whereas back there they actually had items that were more important. Who knows? Maybe we're all supposed to be drinking beer. Addie should be drinking a beer.
Beer's the answer.
That beer is the answer. Actually, who knows? Probably old beer was better than this beer today.
Oh yeah, that is true. Because you know what always because like the Vikings, like they used to call it elixir.
Yeah.
Like so, I always wonder how would it be like to have one of those beers?
Yeah. Honestly.
Or probably. Or probably it can taste disgusting.
I mean, it might have tasted disgusting, but it might have also made you super powerful at the same time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or, like I said, it probably could be delicious. Like we never know.
No, exactly.
Because like every single time they describe a beer, I just base myself on that. It was great. It was like coming after a fight, coming after war, and that's the first thing you wanted.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Okay, unfortunately in America, we understand that the FDA has allowed all these different corporations to poison us with everything. And it's like back in the day, they probably didn't have the same poisons, and they probably let people actually have like natural stuff. So therein lies part of the problem. Whereas we really are not eating the same stuff that they used to eat. We're not drinking the same stuff they used to drink because they want to make money. They want to destroy us at the same time. Make us go to their doctors. Make us get their pharmaceuticals. Make sure that we're constantly in the system of paying them more money because they've earned it, Eddie. They've earned it. They deserve more cash. They're like, oh, you poisoned and killed this person? Okay, here's more money. But okay. Any other questions before
it's like that meme. Take my money.
Absolutely. Shut up and take my money. That's it. Oh, it's poison, sir. Shut up and take my money. It's just amazing. It is just an amazing world we live. Any other questions about Hammurabi before we go to the next thing? I want to say I think it might be things we got to read. Let's see. Yeah, we got to read. All right. So this is a quick. I just did some little snapshots just to kind of go a little bit more, even though his description kind of went over it. But I'll read the left side and I'll make you read the right side because it looks like more writing on the right. The Code of Hammurabi is an ancient Babylonian legal code established around 1754 BCE. It's one of the earliest and most complete written legal codes consisting of 282 laws addressing various aspects of life in ancient Mesopotamia. These laws cover family matters, property rights, criminal law, and the commercial transactions. The code is famous for its principle of an eye for an eye, which Gandhi said makes the world blind, FYI, or retributive justice, though it also includes provisions for fines and other penalties, especially against just the wealthy. Historical context. The Code of Hammurabi was created during the reign of King Hammurabi of Babylon, who unified much of Mesopotamia under his rule. The code was intended to establish a consistent legal framework for his kingdom. Content. The code is inscribed on a large stone stele? Stele? I have no idea. Discovered in 1901. It includes laws addressing a wide range of issues. Family law, marriage, divorce, inheritance, and status of women are addressed. Status of women? Oh no. Property law, rules regarding land ownership, rental agreements, and responsibilities of tenants are outlined. Criminal law. This section includes laws related to theft, assault, and murder, with varying penalties based on social status. That's how it is in America and everywhere. Commercial law. That's actually everywhere. That's the whole world. Commercial law, regulations regarding trade, loans, and debts are established, which probably didn't include poisoning the people. Actually, it looks like I read more. Okay, go ahead, Eddie. Read the next one.
I wish we had a little sound clip of an eagle.
An eagle?
Yeah, when you say America.
Oh, yeah, we need that. Yeah. Yeah. I'll try to find one. I'll try to put that in there. America.
America. All right. Retributive justice. The code is known for its principle of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. However, the penalties varied based on the social class of individuals involved. For example, a doctor who killed a wealthy patient faced a harsher penalty, having his hand cut off. Nice. Than if he had killed a slave. Significance. The Code of Hammurabi is important for several reasons. Early legal code. It's one of the earliest examples of comprehensive written legal code, providing insights into the legal and social structures of ancient Mesopotamia. Influence on later legal systems. The code is considered a precursor to many later legal systems, and its principles have influenced legal throughout history.
Yeah, legal thought throughout history.
Legal thought, sorry. Reflection of society. The code provides valuable insights into the social heritage, economic practice, hierarchy, economic practices,
I read this side.
and moral values of Babylonian society. Beyond retribution, while the code is famous for its retributive justice, it also contains progressive elements, particularly in areas like worker rights and family law, demonstrating a blend of traditional and evolving social norms.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I like about it, is that they actually were better than, like we were talking earlier. Everything is just the banks. If you have a loan to the bank and you can't provide the cash, or you can't provide your farm to whatever you farmed out, if you can't make the cash up for it, guess what? You need to sell your farm to the bank. So they've really bastardized it and made it their own. But a lot of the things that you'll see in there are similar to the kind of stuff we do today with the laws. And then especially when I bring up the social status, it's about the same. Like, literally about the same. Like, if the doctor who killed the wealthy patient, he gets his hands cut off, but if he killed the slave, he just probably pays 60 shekels or whatever in silver. Like, they don't care.
Like whatever the currency was back in the day, yeah.
Right, exactly. That's the thing that's amazed me about this. But the Hammurabi Code is something that everyone should probably look into, because you can kind of see, like, it's parallel to, like, the way that we have everything. Okay, that shed a little bit of light.
It's crazy how they mentioned that even though this was so long ago, like, this is from the 1700s, and we still base ourselves on
But
our society nowadays.
you're missing a whole thing though. BCE.
No, Oh. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right.
So,
Before he was supposed to be born.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't see that. I just
But therein lies the question, though. How long ago actually was all this stuff? Because I don't trust these guys.
That's the thing that's kind of crazy. Or well, what I was referring to is that it's crazy that obviously society has changed so much in all these years.
Yeah.
And it's kind of good and bad to base yourself on the same things, similar things pretty much, but also I think it's bad because everything has changed so much.
Well, they figured out back then what's the best way to control the people is, right? And they've just they've actually just made tweaks to it along the way so that way they have more control. And they're more in charge, and they have, you have to give up your soul pretty much just to be able to, well, one, work in Hollywood, but two, you have to give up your soul to the banks. The banks control everything. It's just insane. So they figured out a way to change the rulers to where it's more acceptable by the people. So, because if we were still under kingship, I feel like we'd probably remove the king and it'd be kind of anarchy. Well, you know what, though? Honestly, I can't even say it'd be anarchy because I don't really know. Like, if everybody was given all the same rights and all the same stuff, and everybody had enough money to do stuff,
therein lies the thing. If everybody had the same opportunities, what could happen?
Right. And it seems like for a while there, we were all kind of having that as a reality, and then it just went back. It went back to the elites are totally in control. No, fuck you. It's like, oh, okay. Great, thanks. So, because, like the 80s and the 90s, it seemed like there were more random people getting into, like, being the CEO, or random people being in charge of this, or random people having a bunch of money, or coming out with random devices that were great. And then it's like, no, we've given them too much. Take it back. It's only going to be our elites, the ones from Yale, the ones from Harvard. These are the only people you trust, okay? Screw all these random jokes that made a device in their garage. They're clowns. Kill them. And that's what happens. Like the water car guy and all these other people that came up with these amazing things. It's like, guess what? They didn't make it because they came up with something that went against the bankers and went against the oil merchants and went against the stock market.
I can't remember exactly where I saw it. I can't remember if it was I was listening to a podcast or watching a video of a podcast when they mentioned whoever invented the car that runs on water.
Yeah.
And he's like, they straight up kill him.
Yeah.
They didn't even hide it.
No. They straight up killed him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a funny part.
Unreal.
It's like, yep. It's like they didn't even try to hide it.
No.
They just did it.
It's just amazing. And here's the thing, though, because they figured out how to set it all up because, and I think we've talked about it before, but Operation Mockingbird, you know what that is, right?
No. I can't remember.
So Operation Mockingbird is that there's a CIA agent at every single news media that puts out like a bulletin, like a press release or whatever the case, and they actually make sure that everything that gets put out to the people is approved by the CIA. So that control has been out there forever. So that's where, like, when you were mentioning that one journalist that went against everything, you kind of did, which we still have to figure that out. And again, I'll put up a graphic, but that person is great. Like, we used to have actual journalists that actually looked into things and actually came out with stuff, and then they'd be reprimanded afterwards, I'm sure. Like, hey, you can't do that shit. You can't talk about the banks. Like, that's bad news. And it's bad for everybody. You need to make sure that everybody thinks the banks are the best. They're the helpers, Eddie. They're there to help you with interest. Is the key. with interest. So yeah, anything else with the Hammurabi Code? Hammurabi.
No.
I like saying Hammurabi.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you learning more right now? It seemed like kind of like okay, interesting stuff.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's just like the things that like don't fuck with the beer.
Yeah. The innkeepers.
And like I said, it's just that like that surprises me that we've had similar laws like against people or like similar thoughts since like so long ago.
Since supposedly 1745 or 54 BCE, which is oh my goodness. If you want to take it, what is that? If you want to take their BS, is it not 3,700 years ago?
I think so.
But we still have the same rules today. It's like, oh, okay. So nothing's changed over the time.
No.
This next one, Mr. Eddie, is I forget exactly which clip I have here from it. So just an FYI for everybody, David Icke and Zulu Shaman it's like that's all you have to pretty much Google search, but you're gonna want to watch it on UFO TV because I don't think you can really find it on anything else. It's like a 6-hour interview. He sat down with this guy for at least 2 days, and they went over like a lot of different things. But I'm going to be as curious as you are to see which video it is because I did this a couple weeks ago. So I really don't know which of the many clips that I took that I put in this one. So this will be interesting for the both of us. Any questions about this one?
Jump into it.
No idea, right? Okay, good. All right, let's do it. David Icke and the Zulu Shaman.
Story that you're telling, Credo, from the African perspective, is it in effect the same story as told in
I showed you a couple videos
tens
of
of
this guy.
thousands of clay tablets found in what we now call Iraq, who become known as the Sumerian tablets, that talk about a race of gods called the Anunnaki, who came in and brought knowledge, ruled the people, and interbred with them.
Anunnakis from the second.
Do you say, therefore, that the Anunnaki in those stories that have increasingly, of course, been translated in a number of books, they were reptilian, you say?
Say, all I do know is this, that here in South Africa, amongst the Xhosa people, amongst the Zulu people, there are beings who are very revered even now, and they are called Amanuna or Amanono. Amanono is Zulu, Amanuna is Xhosa. Now these beings are godlike beings, we are told. They can change their faces. They can change their appearance.
They can shapeshift.
Yes, sir. They are shape shifters. A manuna, now if a Xhosa man has married a very beautiful wife, a wife whose face seems to change every day.
I mean, American women change all the time.
By calling her his Inuna.
It's because of TikTok.
Linuna lam. In other words, a shape shifter. Say, it is said that the people who are closest to the hearts of the Manuna gods are women. And why? Because the women give to the Manuna the power of, they worship the Manuna, they hero worship them, which explains why Nefertiti wanted herself to look like one of them, and her children too. She was actually hero worshipping these creatures, and the women are copycats, and I'm not being sexist when I say this. Women will copycat any being that they think is supreme.
That's why Kim Kardashian took over.
In Egypt,
I love how he had to explain that.
The python-like headdresses, which are pretty obvious when you look at them, that the pharaohs were connected with.
Yes, and the reptile has played an unusually strange part in the culture of all African tribes.
Well,
For
you
example,
see reptiles everywhere too.
It is my suspicion that we black people of Southern Africa are going to be deprived of our nationhood in the very near future, and that we are going to be ruled by people of Uganda. But wait, what is the real meaning of the word Baganda? Baganda. And what is the creature that you see depicted on the walls of houses and on the roofs of houses of some of the greatest empires in Africa?
Thanks.
It is the python.
Yep.
There was a golden python which was used as a decoration on the roof of the house in which the king of Benin, the Oba, lived. Zulu people revere the mamba, a very terrible snake.
Yeah, I think I'll kill you in a second.
Zulu people revere other snakes as well. And in Venda, in the northern Transvaal, the Venda people regard the snake as well as the crocodile as sacred. And they, even today, their girls dance at initiation, a long, rather sinuous dance representing the movements of a python. And they call that dance the Domba dance. And
It actually has some backup dancers dance
is the
too.
ancient name for a female python.
Well, wherever
Still
you
doing
look,
it today.
all over the world, whether it's the Maya of Central America, you look at South America, Africa, anywhere, the symbolism of the snake, the crocodile, the representation of the reptilian is there. You go into Europe, and the Illuminati created cathedrals like Notre Dame in Paris. You've got the stately homes of the aristocracy, etc., with the gargoyles, the reptilian figures. It's been in our face, but we just somehow have had a blind spot to see it.
We human beings have idolized the reptile since the very supposed birth of our history. Go even further, much further. What was the creature which was honored by the ancient Greeks in their Delphic oracle? The python. What is the creature that stands next to the figures of the goddess Athena? The python.
Yep.
No matter where you look, go to China, where I once went. Who are the principal characters who brought wisdom to humankind? Creatures, part snake and part human being, one of whom I remember correctly was called Nu, a word which occurs also in Africa, and her brother was Kwa, and sometimes it's turned into one creature, Nukwa, she. Everywhere, we human beings have sacrificed our dignity as a species and attributed great intellect and great glory to reptiles, tortoises, turtles, lizards, snakes. Why? And even now, our fascination with the reptile and the amphibian has not stopped. In fact, it's growing. The popularity of all those dinosaurs in cartoon as well as in serious form.
Jurassic Park,
it
baby.
makes me uneasy.
If we could just pick up this line of bloodlines, which the Sumerian tablets talk about.
Oh yeah, that's why I put this in here.
The interbreeding of humanity and how the accounts explain that these crossbreeds were put into the positions of royal ruling power, almost as like demigods, middlemen between the gods, the Chittahuli, the reptiles, and the people. Those bloodlines, in my own research, became the European royal families and aristocracy, and today are the ruling, banking, business, and political and royal lines of the world.
Banksters.
And the genealogy supports this increasingly. Is there a tradition also that the royal lines of Africa go back to the same source?
Please, you don't have to believe me. Go to Rwanda and there talk to the people there. They will tell you that the founding ancestors of their dynasties, the first kings who came from the sky, and they were called Imanugela, the ascending ones. Say, many African tribes believe that when the gods came down from the sky, they found human beings very, very stupid. And the human beings could not come before the gods
like today,
in order to be taught. So what the gods did, and this is a story that you also find amongst the Dogoni people in West Africa, because the human beings were afraid of approaching these reptile gods. The reptile gods cold-bloodedly slaughtered one of their number and shed out its flesh with a specially gathered crowd of human beings. And these human beings then became the ancestors of our first great kings. Now say, African kings jealously guarded their blood.
If the royal lines of Africa claim descendants from the same source, basically, have those lines interbred as obsessively as the European aristocracy and royal family, and not bred outside of those lines?
Yes, sir. Royalty had to marry royalty. That was one of the strictest laws in ancient times.
It's happened forever, right?
Which is obviously where we get the term the divine right of kings from. It's not actually God, it's actually the gods.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Royalty intermarried with royalty. You were not allowed to take a commoner as your senior wife if you were a king. You could take commoners after your senior wife.
Once the genetics has been achieved.
Yes, sir. Now, another thing, it is like the Sangomas. Very, very strictly speaking, a Sangoma who was sometimes viewed as a king or a queen was not allowed to marry outside her caste or his caste. Sangoma had to marry Sangoma, otherwise the non-Sangoma blood would pollute the god blood inside the Sangoma.
What do you think of that?
So that's the thing that I want to mention, but I don't want to interrupt during the video.
Yeah.
Like the way that he brought up like reptiles.
Yeah.
Like it's been like in everything.
They're
Like either
everywhere.
like it either represents like something good, something bad, but that was like fuck it, like a mind blown moment.
Oh,
like
yeah. Well, you've seen
Like,
the pharmacy. You've seen like the representation of a pharmacy staff, where it has a serpent surrounding it, right? For the not for the pharmacy, but like for your doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
This is that. Yeah, and it's like the other thing too. Like, I keep coming back to this, but it's like they're not like your usual. Because like I remember, like as a kid, whenever you saw like somebody that was like outside of like a very well-spoken human being or something like that, and they would describe things about like theories and conspiracies, and they always portrayed them as like these crazy people, like you know, like they were just like so over the top and like,
oh yeah,
you know, and like that's the thing that gets me, like when these people are just like just like having a civilized conversation and like talking about these things. Like I think that's where it gets me a little bit more.
I trust this guy. I don't think he's full of shit. Yeah, I totally do.
Like it's not like, oh yeah, like, you know, like why would I listen to it or why would I pay attention? He is crazy. You know what I mean?
Right. This guy doesn't seem like a crazy person. And also, shamans, now there is something to think about shamans though being demonic also, because they do bring in spirits and whatnot, but those are normally like the Native American shamans that you kind of hear about, where they bring in dark spirits to be able to blah blah blah.
Also African.
Also African. Yeah, actually, no, you're not wrong.
Because
like
I remember
and Haiti and all that.
I remember like a long time ago, like they used to, like they have like that very big culture in Africa about like zombies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, that was, I think, a big part of that was Haiti. Haiti was the big voodoo stuff, but it was in Africa also. The one thing, so this guy, the 6-hour long video documentary that they have here, he does talk about partaking in like a ritual, and he's seen a lot of shit, man. At least, and you know, he delivers it just like this. When you're listening to him, which again, like I said, about every single topic here, every single video in this is like boring to listen to, but you gotta like pay attention and you gotta like listen to it all, because there's like, this is 6 hours long. That one video about the history of Babylon in the beginning, the Babylonian Brotherhood, that's an hour and a half long, where it's boring all the way through. But you gotta listen to it, because it's like they bring you all this information that you're like, really? It's like, oh, and then this, and then this, and then this. It's just insane. Yeah, no, honestly. So as far as this guy, you trust him. You don't think he's full of shit. Doesn't seem like it anyway.
Yeah, well, trust is a big word, but I mean, like, do I not believe everything he says? No. Like,
so let me rephrase it.
He has a valid point.
Does it resonate with you? Does it feel like?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the one thing. You know, these things all resonate with me too. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that's probably real. I do like the little reptile guy above his shoulder though. That's my favorite guy. He's like, he's got a smile on too.
The thing is just how much does this chain weigh? Like
hmm?
Like the chain or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about
it.
You're still all about his little necklace there.
It's not little. There's nothing little about this thing.
So on there, he's actually got two figures. He's got one that's a hand, right? He's got two figures that one's a male, one's a female, and it's actually got a big dick on it too, to where he actually like puts them together. And I guess they use that during one of the ceremonies to actually like fertility ceremonies that they have, and so he puts them together as they sing and make songs. Yeah, so like, everything that he's got on makes sense, Eddie, okay? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Look over there. Don't look over there.
I just mean, it's just like, it seems so heavy, you know? Like
dude, I couldn't wear that thing all day. Get the hell out of here.
It seems uncomfortable. And then, also the thing that like caught my eyes when he's like has this huge bracelet. Like,
oh yeah.
You just hear him like,
clanging around,
snapping. No, like when he takes them off and he puts them on the table. I assume there's like a little table.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, damn. It's just like you just see him clinging. He doesn't let them drop. It's just, he just plays them now.
Absolutely. Well, there is something to, like, you've seen those things that are supposed to like rebalance your energy field, and it's like a copper bracelet to wear, right? You've seen those? Copper with magnets? No? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Heard about it. But like with all of that stuff, that I really don't believe any of that. Like magnets, and then they help you balance.
You're forgetting you're an electrical being, Mr. Eddie. This is something.
No, I know that,
but
it's just like, also too, there's a lot of people that like benefited of that and like scammed a lot of people.
Well, there are a lot of people that made a lot of money on it, but here's the other thing, though. Did it actually help the people that wore it?
I don't think so. I can't trust something that... This is one thing that I remember, because a lot of A-list like stars went onto that, and they
whenever celebrities are producing stuff, it does kind of bring in the question.
Like, the magnetism and these bracelets and this and that. I was like, yeah, I don't believe it. I remember, I think it was a teacher a long time ago. He said, he just gives this class because I don't know if we were talking about like cell phones or some type of product. And he was like, yeah, when you see that they, like the bigger the star they put that's how bad the product is.
In a way, I agree with you there, Mr. Eddie. But there's so many of these AI things now that are silly, where it's like you just get some random person, like on Rumble, especially if you're watching Rumble, you'll see like an advertisement pop up, and it's like the voice doesn't match with the actual mouth movements, and it's like, okay, it's all bullshit. But there could be a lot of, maybe because they're so successful and they've had so many people talk about it and buy it again, that they're like, hey, Brad Pitt, you want to go help us out? We'll pay you $12 million. I'm like, okay.
I don't know.
You know, one thing, the side note, super duper side note, but of all actors that have been out there saying stupid nonsense and promoting stupid nonsense, Brad Pitt's actually been one of those that really hasn't. So I actually appreciate him a lot for not being one of those guys.
I don't know.
Well, what have you seen that he's been mean about, or been stupid about, or been like super political about? Nothing.
Angelina Jolie.
She's an idiot. But she's one that I would disagree. Yeah. So like, and then there's also like the one thing that's always got me is like watching these celebrities where they're sitting there and they got some poor puppy dog behind them, and it's like, you need to give your money to help this puppy dog. It's like, bitch, you're worth $20 million. Give them some cash. Take care of these dogs. What do you need it from the poor people? But they don't. They don't help the dogs. They let the dogs perish. Then they probably eat them if they're in China.
Yeah, okay. That's well. You should probably cut that off.
That's reality.
Let's cut that little piece of reality.
You want to cut that out? You don't want to be stricken from the China?
No.
China's got Eddie's number. They're paying China. Eddie's being paid by China, everybody. We'll probably cut that. But yeah, man.
You're like I won't guarantee it, but we'll probably cut it.
We'll probably cut it. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what the final edit looks like. But no, honestly, I like the Zulu Shaman guy. I think that he really isn't. He doesn't seem like he's full of shit. He seems like he's kind of legitimate, and he's seen a lot of things and heard a lot of things. And
like the thing that I like is when he says like, you don't have to believe me. You can just go and find out for yourself.
Yeah, kind of go look.
And that's what I like, because he's like, they're not trying to shove it down your throat. Like, they're not.
Exactly.
He's just like, if you ever doubt, like any human being should have,
everybody
just go
should doubt
find that person.
everything. But that's the joke. Therein lies, like what you just said right there, in lies the biggest problem we all have as a civilization is that we just trust what we're told by our supposed superiors. You know what I mean? Like, we hear it from a doctor and go, oh, okay, I got to go take this. Or, oh, okay, I got to take this pill. It's like, no, that's more than likely that commercial's a bullshit doctor anyway. It's not a real doctor. They just put a goddamn lab coat on the clown. That's what they do. That's literally it. And you actually, a couple of years ago, they actually started adding that down on the bottom where it said actor, not actual doctor. Okay. But the issue is most people don't look for that bottom little asterisk. They just see the little doctor image and they go, oh, this guy's telling the truth. It's real. All right. I've been told that these are the people we need to listen to and be told what to do from.
He seems trustworthy. Trustworthy.
This guy really does seem trustworthy. He really does. And honestly, if you sit and listen to the whole 6-hour interview like I have, you believe him even more. You really do. You really do. But let's see. So any other questions about the Zulu Shaman before we go to the next little clip?
No, we're good.
Yeah, ready to roll? All right, so this one here, I like the middle fingers right in your face, Mr. Eddie, in your 3.5. But this right here.
No, I hope this was no pun intended. It's just
honestly, it really is no pun intended. But I'm really glad that it actually is the middle fingers. This is fantastic. Because this is where it ends off before the clip starts. So this is perfect. You've seen this show. That's it. You've seen this show. I've seen this show, and then the V clip afterwards, which you have not seen, which you'll appreciate. So okay, are you ready to go into the inside job and V clip?
Yeah, it's just a quick side note. I had to beg him for like at least a year to watch the show.
He did. He did. He literally for like a year. And honestly, the funny thing is, I didn't even watch this show until I knew we had to do this Babylonian Brotherhood with the reptilian thing. That's literally the only reason that I decided to watch this show. And it worked out. It worked out good. So, all right. So here we go. You ready?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Oh God, what's that?
Is it a nuclear disaster?
No! It's even worse! It's a PR disaster!
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a 13-alarm crap fire. I accidentally hit reply all to a company-wide email where I made a very un-PC joke about reptoids.
Oh, no.
Question, what is reptoids? Oh, just your classic shape-shifting lizard people that live in secret amongst humanity.
That's right.
We're talking
That's right.
politicians,
Miley Cyrus.
Madonna's a Madonna?
Madonna.
Reptoids provide a lot of our company's funding, and in exchange, we prevent the world from doing anything about global warming to keep them at their preferred body heat. The system works. If we want to keep this year's funding, we need to kiss ass at their annual Reptoid Gala to get them to sign this contract. It's being held at their stronghold at Yale.
Yeah! Real Yale.
This place smells like Teslas and inbreeding.
Ooh, boy.
This fun guy's ready for fun, guys.
What was that?
Nothing. Who's ready to party?
Now remember, everyone, we need that contract, so no slip-ups. Don't point and stare, don't touch their throat sacks, and if a lizard asks you your favorite Hogwarts house, what do you say?
Slytherin!
Hufflepuff. I mean, Slytherin.
Oh, honey, you ain't fooling anybody.
Hufflepuff.
Oh, hell, it's something in Latin, I think. Draconius, Plurbus, I don't know. Look, here's how much money's in my bank account.
It's all that matters.
Welcome.
Yep. That's it.
Welcome to the other side. You want to talk about connections? These reptiles literally have blue blood.
Rats.
This is incredible. I can't believe who's secretly a reptoid. Anderson Cooper? Taylor Swift?
Yep.
The song Shake It Off was about how I shed my skin every 1,000 years. And the song
That's
Bad
your favorite.
was about how I drink blood out of my Grammys.
A toast
Yeah.
to blood. Save some blood for Paul Rudd.
So that's why Paul Rudd never ages.
Oh,
That's right.
Look, sex man.
So
That's the thing. Like they used to break so easily back in the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But this camera, that doesn't apply to it.
No,
at all.
exactly. So the setup for this is the one that was in the 80s, obviously, as you can tell. So you remember Independence Day, where there's motherships all the ships show up and they go over all the different cities and they sit there and they wait, right? So this was ripped off by this, because that's literally what happens in this, is that they go over all the entire Earth and they sit there, and then ultimately they don't do anything. They don't damage anybody. And they're like, hey, we're here as friends. We want to help you. We're looking for, we're trying to help our planet heal, which is actually from the Sumerian tablets. But we're looking to help our planet heal, so we need this type of whatever. And then he starts to question all the things. It starts getting a little bit weird. So he ends up going on to one of the ships. And that's what happens here, where he's using his camera and seeing stuff, and then it turns into a whole thing, and then everyone's going after him, and then it's they control the media, they control everything, to where when he does this video, obviously he just took all this footage and he tries to put it out there, and they go, nope, they cut the feed everywhere and take over, because their way that they're parked is they're parked over all the major metropolitan areas. So whenever anything comes out, they can just cut the feed and put in their own stuff, and then they make him the bad guy, and then it's a whole group that gets together. It's actually a really good show. But the one thing that's interesting is, like, you've never heard of Project Bluebeam, right? Silence means no.
No, I said no. I said no.
I didn't hear it. Okay. So Project Bluebeam is actually like a holograph projection, to where that's what they're saying, is that it's going to be like when the aliens invade, it's going to be fake, it's going to be that, which I still think we have our own alien ships too that they could probably use and just destroy people. So FYI, when there's a big alien invasion, I think we talked about this last time, but FYI, when there's a big alien invasion, it might be fake, it might be bullshit. I would not recommend walking in front of the lasers, but at the same time, like, it might not be
laser beam.
Yeah, you got to watch out, laser beams. They probably have those. So we'll see what happens there. But it's interesting, they've had, like, the reason I brought these videos in here is that they've literally been showing us these random things that have reptilians that are shapeshifters in there in our face. And we should probably pay more attention to what they're showing us, because they might be showing us some bit of reality. We have no idea what the hell, because they lie to us about everything. Right, Eddie?
Yeah, that's the thing that we talked about, like all these random movies and stuff like that that just come out just out of the blue. So it's just like, why?
Yeah. Like, some of them are really awkward, too. Like, well, why, no one's talked about this. No one's brought this up. Why the hell would you show people this? Oh, probably because you need to. There's also something weird, too, with, like, if you go look at the super alternative media, it's like they have to, because of their satanic rule or whatever the case, they have to show you what they're doing to you at the same time. And so, therefore, this is soft disclosure. I don't know if you ever heard that phrase, but soft disclosure means they're kind of showing it to you, but in a light fashion to where you think it's bullshit. So that's where all these movies, TV shows, and all these things are. Because, yeah, it's interesting. It really is interesting. There's no reason that they should even show us this shit, but they do. Put it right in our face. And then, well, the best thing is it's easily discreditable. So when you say, oh, yeah, they got aliens, and they're, actually, this was before David Icke started talking. But this way, when you say, there are aliens, and they're reptilians, and they're controlling the world, you go, clown, that was in a movie. How dare you? It's all fake. It's all studios. There's nothing real. Believe in the scientist. Yeah. Yeah, so anything you want to bring up before we go to the next slide? This is kind of just like a playful slide.
No, we can cut to.
Okay. Next, this here, I love this opening clip. I love this thing, or this picture. I love this picture. This is my favorite picture of the whole thing. This is Greg Reese. Greg Reese, again, is literally like is a real journalist who actually goes through and kind of tries to uncover things and figure things out, which this you will be like, oh, shit. So, yeah. Any questions before we start this beautiful image into a beautiful video?
No.
Okay, here
go
we go.
Ahead.
Rock and roll. I love his opening beats, too.
The British royal family, who own over 16% of the entire planet, seems to be falling apart, which is nothing to mourn, for they are one of the most monstrous families on Earth. In 1964, the Queen and Prince Philip visited a school in British Columbia. Former resident William Coombs claims that 10 of his classmates were taken by the Queen and Prince Philip, never to be seen again. The notorious pedophile and necrophiliac Jimmy Savile was close friends with the royal family. Charles wanted him to be Prince Harry's godfather. He was awarded the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire in 1971 and knighted by the Queen in 1990. Prince Andrew has been a regular at Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island.
Yep.
King Charles was close friends with a bishop who was convicted of raping over a dozen boys. A former student of Aldenham School claims that students were routinely raped and tortured by members of the Worshipful Company of Brewers, which was frequented by Jimmy Savile, King Charles, and Lord Mountbatten, who has been accused of raping an 11-year-old boy. Jeanette Archer says she was abused by the royals as a young child and says that they are reptilians. According to Princess Diana's friend, Christine Fitzgerald, Diana's nickname for the Windsors was the Reptiles, and used to say that they are not human. While this may sound strange, most royal bloodlines in history were said to be the offspring of reptilians, often described as dragon or serpent people. In an interview with David Icke, Arizona Wilder told her story of being bred for the express purpose of conducting rituals for the royal family.
I was bred for this role that I fulfill. I was being abused and traumatized, and on purpose, for the mind control that they need someone to go through to do whatever they say.
She explained the importance of blood rituals.
What it's all about is that the blood and the menstrual blood contains something that is important for the propagation of this race that is controlling things on this planet.
She explained the infamous adrenochrome.
For it to be secreted in the blood is they need terrorization of their victims. They are killed at that moment as they are staring into their eyes.
She said when the royals and others smelled blood, they would shapeshift into reptilians.
When the victims are starting to be sacrificed, it's the scent of the blood. They start shapeshifting at that point in time. They can't hold their shape when this happens. The
human shape.
The human shape they cannot hold. They go back into reptilian shape as this is happening because it's a type of excitement of the kill. I have seen at rituals, I have seen George Bush. I have seen the two sons when they were young.
Are these the sons that have become governors?
Yes. One is in Florida and one is in Texas. Madeleine Albright. I have seen Henry Kissinger. I've seen the Queen Mother there. And I have seen Princess Margaret there. I've seen Charles there. And they shapeshift.
What have you seen the Queen or any of the royal family do in relation to that? Have you seen them sacrifice and consume human flesh?
I've seen all of them drink human blood and
like Paul Rudd,
consume human flesh. There are certain times when there will have been someone doing a sacrifice and it's not happening fast enough for them. So they will step in and finish it themselves. These reptilians live hundreds of years, and so they have to have taken more than one human body to live in.
David Icke predicted years ago that the royal family would be removed to make way for a one-world government. And Dr. Michael Salla, who has been researching exopolitics for 20 years, has a different theory, which could explain the fading of the royal family.
The ousting of the Saqqara reptilians in 2021 and how the deep state is panicking without their overlords. What about these reptilian extraterrestrials, and what do you know about this?
What we have is a lot of evidence going back thousands of years that there are these reptilian species that have played a big role in controlling the earth. And the name of the kind of apex reptilian is Saqqara. So these are kind of like dragon-like creatures, 8 foot to 12 foot tall. And they apparently have been forced to leave our solar system recently with the arrival of these kind of more senior species. They're here to watch our emergence into a planetary, into a galactic culture. They're here to watch that. But once that has happened over a period of maybe a dozen years or so, they're going to leave. And then we're going to have to fend for ourselves. So it's almost like, where we're breaking out of the shell. But once we've broken out of the shell, like any little animal that's just broken out of a shell, the parent has protected you, but you're on your own now. Good luck.
Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
Mind blown yet?
The only thing that I didn't like was the lady saying you know what I mean? That's what I was just saying. Like, that's the typical.
Lady saying.
They eat blood. They this and that.
So here's the thing. So the Zulu shaman one, in the 6-hour interview, he does talk about a ritual where they literally, the staring in the eyes, that is actually something that happens when they're dying. And so it's to be able to take over the energy of the person. The drinking of the blood is a real thing. That's probably why that stupid Inside Job has it set up that way, where Paul Rudd's drinking the blood. But how many times? Okay, so Mr. Eddie in your Aztec favorhood, what did they do?
What? So wow. I guess.
Did they not sacrifice people and drink the blood of the virgins?
Well, they used to take their heart out and stuff like that.
And what they do with the heart? For sure. Just throw it away?
Nope.
Did they eat it? So there's
sometimes.
Yeah, they did. So there's also like a whole thing about the intestines, because that's where your sacral chakra is, and that's where you should probably start to gain the energy and whatnot. So it's honestly, we have no idea what these people. Like, you've heard of Bohemian Grove, right? I think we've talked briefly. I think I've talked to you briefly about it. I think that's probably. Bohemian Grove, they actually have all the wealthy people out there, and they don't supposedly sacrifice little baby, but they have they have the fire pit there, and they throw in supposedly like a fake baby into the thing, but it's still got the screams of like a normal baby would scream while it's being burned on fire. So there's terrible things that these people do that they're the ones that we listen to every day, and they tell us how to think and how to believe and how to act. These are the clowns. This is where it's nice to actually see kind of these things and kind of go, hey, maybe we shouldn't listen to the people that are telling us what to do. Maybe we should figure out another way, because they might not be all that beneficial to us. What do you think of this image? This guy freaks you out, doesn't he?
Probably AI generated.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. But no, it's interesting. Honestly, like if anybody's really interested, you can look at how many children go missing every single year. You can look at, supposedly underneath one of Epstein's island, he had like a breeding factory down there. So there's a lot of things that's become more available to the public to where you can kind of be like, there's something nefarious going on. There's something bad here. There's something we should probably question before we sit there and let our politicians or let our celebrities tell us how to think. Fuck them. Fuck them. They ain't there for you. They've already made their millions by telling you, by pretending to be something that they're not. So yeah, very, very, very interesting. But what do you think? What do you think? That whole thing makes you kind of sick to your stomach, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's just uneasy, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like weird stuff. The reptilians, man. Bad news bears. So okay, anything else before you go into the next one, which should be our final one?
No. Just, like I said, it's just.
So this here is the Vice interview I was telling you about with David Icke, right? And I'll set up the premise here, or I'll set up the start here, where they're walking through a forest in a place in Isle of Wight, that's where he lives, and they're going to a site. I'll say it like that. And then the end is just like a kind of what this guy thinks of David Icke. So, all right. Any questions again before we roll it?
Go for it, man.
Okay.
The long stone. There we go.
That looks like an altar if I've ever seen
It's funny,
one.
you come on a day like this. It's a nice day, and there's families around, and you see these stones. You could see these on May the 1st, Halloween, that kind of, in these ritual periods of the year.
And you'd be a totally different story.
You would see something very different
So
here.
this is the center point of this energy that they're trying to tap into.
What they would do, among many other things, you'd have them in their robes and hoods all around here, and you probably have, you would have the sacrifice on the slab
This is
here.
the altar.
This is their altar.
It looks like a perfect
and
slab.
what they're doing, it's horrible, but let's get the truth out. What they're doing is manipulating the sacrifice. The sacrifice knows the sacrifice is coming, and who's going to help them? Look,
right.
At midnight or something. No one. And what they then do is they sacrifice the victim, and they drink the blood immediately, which has this chemical substance in it, and they go crazy. I mean, I've talked to people who've been at these rituals, and how once the sacrifice happens and the blood runs, these people go crazy with blood. There was a man called Stanley Kubrick, the great filmmaker.
I think I've heard of him.
Oh, yeah,
Stanley
that's right.
Kubrick was an insider, and he wanted to expose it. And his last movie was called Eyes Wide Shut.
I've seen it.
Now, Eyes Wide Shut, he died very, very soon after it was presented to executives at the film company, and was given no fanfare whatsoever when it came out. It just disappeared.
The hell out of it as well.
Yes, they did. They took 25 minutes out of it, which he refused to do. Now, he filmed a ritual with Tom Cruise in it, in which I only know more recently was a Rothschild mansion.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta blur all that out.
And what he filmed is a mild version of what goes on, because he knew. And you had the colors. You have most people in the ritual in Eyes Wide Shut were in black. The main guy was in red. Here we go again. Yeah. You had the orgies going on, and you had the people being killed, the lady being killed. But that was such a mild version. I don't know what was in the 25 minutes they took out, mind, because the real version is that there's blood everywhere. We see a hierarchy in the public arena of president, secretaries of state, of prime ministers, secretaries of state, down. Yeah. That's the public hierarchy. The real hierarchy in the shadows is the occult hierarchy. And if you're higher in the occult hierarchy, the satanic hierarchy, which is incredibly hierarchical, it's all hierarchical, then you have more power over someone higher than you in the public hierarchy.
You know, people familiar with your work would know that you've made some predictions over the years. and they've come to pass. I mean, I think this may be part of the reason why people are really starting to pick up on your work. Something like the internet, what do you see happening? I mean, because at the moment, this is how people are getting information spread to each other. It seems, at least at the moment, to be relatively free in most countries. What do you see happening there?
The big thing that they're going to say is because of the danger of terrorism and terrorists communicating on the internet, these things have to be stopped. Yep. I mean, what did Cameron say after the London riots? We may have to talk about censoring Twitter and Facebook. And Bill Clinton, and when Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair or George Bush or anybody, when they open their mouths, it's the Rothschild speaking. And just a few months ago, Bill Clinton came out and said we need basically a censor organization, a ministry of truth, to police the internet and to stop people. He specifically talked about people who are spreading rumors on the internet and are not true. They are true, Bill, okay. They're in my books. There's old documentaries about it. They're true. Go away. Drink your milk. Walking and believing what you're doing, then something comes out the other end, and it's just beginning to.
Even within conspiracy circles, David Icke is a controversial figure. Many view him as a harmless eccentric, while others claim he must be an agent provocateur, discrediting conspiracies by mixing documented fact with wild allegations of rapist reptilians and their artificial moon base. Maybe they're just jealous. Icke has sold over 20 million books worldwide, while his website is an iconic forum for the global esoteric community with over 4 million views a month. So this is David Icke, visionary, multi-million selling author, global icon, one-time messiah, former goalkeeper, and the single greatest threat to the lizard apocalypse. Good luck, my friend.
So, what'd you think of that?
Well, first, there's a lot of blurring.
What?
There's a lot to blur.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not talking about the titties I'm going to have to blur out. I can literally just put a whole fucking blur on the whole screen, if anything. So I'm not worried about that. So what did you think of the video besides the titties that you enjoyed?
No, it was. It's just that I don't know, like the whole ritual part of it and all that stuff. Like if it is true, like it really, I don't know, like it makes me feel like very uneasy.
Very uneasy. Yeah, because here's the thing. Have you ever been to the ritual stone at midnight on a full moon or any one of these holidays?
Nope, don't plan to either.
No, fuck that.
Like just even like just going there, like not even like. I bet you if it is if it is true that something went down on these places,
you'd feel it.
Like like you can probably sense something.
Well, I feel like you're probably a little more empathic. You know what empath is? You know what an empath is? Okay. So you probably pick up on more energies. Just like I'm more of an empath myself, where I can pick up on energies when I'm in an area, I'm like, I don't like this. I need to get the fuck out of here. And luckily, I'm not anywhere near Washington, D.C., which is probably filled with all these demonic fucks. But, like, I try to stay, whenever I go into, like, some super political things, I actually feel some of those, like, negative energies. I feel bad. And I think right now is a good time because there's a lot of people waking up and a lot of people starting to realize what energies they've been feeling. And I think we're going to have a renaissance, I'll say. Won't be like the French Renaissance where we decapitate all of our elites or all of our scholarly people, which probably wouldn't be a bad thing to a degree. But yeah, no. It's honestly, the good news is, Eddie, is that you're being exposed to some of this stuff that is possibly out there, and you really don't know, man. You really don't know what the fuck is going on.
That's the thing that's I would assume everybody, like, there's probably, like, a lot of stuff that not a lot of people know.
Well, what about the Skull and Bone Society? You know what I mean? What do those guys do?
It's like a very well-known.
Yeah, well, part of it, the only reason it's well known is because they did a half-what soft disclosure where they made Paul Walker in that movie show about it, right? I like Paul Walker. I miss him. But yeah, like, that was a big part of the disclosure thing, that we really had no idea about the society. Who knows about the society besides the people that are actually in it? There's a lot of secret societies all over, just like JFK was talking about. It's repugnant. We need to get rid of these secret societies. We should, nothing should be kept secret. Everything should kind of be open to the public. And that's part of the reason we're doing this, Eddie, is to bring all this information to the public so that the public can have a better idea of kind of how to proceed and kind of to change certain things, because if they're participating in a society, a secret society that's doing these types of things, it's like, really, you want to continue letting these crazy people sacrifice human beings and then drink their blood? Like, no, you shouldn't. Like, that shouldn't be a thing for you.
There shouldn't be a thing in general.
Right.
Just like
Absolutely shouldn't be a thing in general. We should have left the Aztecs behind, Eddie.
Okay, relax. There's plenty of societies that did different messed up stuff. Okay, there's the Romans. There's
okay, all right.
There's a lot.
I'm just getting offended now with the Aztecs.
No, just saying. There's a bunch of societies that did a bunch of stuff. So
it's because they didn't have sombreros on the Aztecs. Is that why you're upset?
Whoa. Those came a lot after.
It did take a long time for them to start making sombreros instead of taking hearts out and wearing those. But so yeah. So here's the other thing I'll ask. What do you think of Mr. David Icke here? I kind of have just like a brief thing about him, but he's been in a couple of clips that you've seen. Do you kind of think he's full of shit? Do you think he's kind of maybe onto something? Do you think he's kind of telling like what he's seeing?
I think he's just going the proper way about it. He has a subject that he obviously believes on it, and he's just trying to research on it.
Yeah.
And try to get more information about it.
Yeah. I'd agree.
Which is always how you should look at stuff. If you believe in something, or you have certain doubts, or something passions you, and you want to get more answers, you try to look for the answers.
And you should try to continuously look to find out what's actually happening, because
get a lot of perspectives about it too.
See, that's the thing I've loved about him, is that he doesn't just take the first person and go, okay, run with it. He actually talks to lots of different people about the same thing, and they all kind of confer, yeah, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And no, I've always, that's where, honestly, I pay for Iconic. The only thing I watch though is David Icke, because I like David Icke. His sons are doing stuff now too that are good, but honestly, I like talking to the man that knows about it. He's been talking about this for 30 years. For 30 years. I think it was like 93 was when he first came out. And there was he went on some like talk show, and he was talking about this. He was literally talking about the reptilians that are the royal family. And when he mentioned it, everybody was laughing at him. And the one comment, that the guy that was interviewing said is, no, they're laughing at you. They're not laughing at what you're saying. They're laughing at you, like he's a clown. And then the funny thing that he responded with was, imagine I'm Jesus sitting here talking about, being, all loving and giving, and everybody laughed at him and cast stones at him and killed him, right? So what are we doing? Like, it's the same thing, because they just train the people. They train the people how to think. They train the people how to act and how to respond to things. And they don't let people actually use their brains to figure out things themselves. Why would they, right? That's why you go to years and years of schooling. It's your training. And how much smarter are we really after we go to all these things? I don't think we are, right?
Well, that's the one thing that I've brought up, like when I went to college and stuff like that, is that their focus was more of like more intuitive, like you trying to. This is your problem. You got to solve it. Like you, by your own means, try to investigate and try to come up with some sort of way to solving it.
Well, you went to a different school though than everybody.
No, I know, but I mean, like,
and you also were focused on programming, which is a whole nother thing too in itself. Whereas most people just go to school to get some type of plaque that they can put on the wall that says that they went there.
It's like, yeah, I was there.
I got drunk for 4 years, just passed all my classes, and now I can go to some executive job and say that I got a degree. And I was like, oh, okay, good for you. Here's $35,000 to start with. If you keep with it, we'll give you more money. But to start with, even though you owe $200,000 plus to the banks, you ain't gonna pay that back for a long time. So it's a good thing you got a loan for it. It's insane. It really is insane. Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. Fucking nuts. But yeah, any other questions or anything about David Icke before we go into probably the last slide?
No.
All right. Thank you for watching. So I do want to thank everybody for watching. This has been a little bit longer. This is literally just one topic. I knew it was going to be a long one because this is kind of a hard topic to go into. I can't do what Johnny Lewis does, where he just writes like a page of something and says, "Oh, it's bullshit. Threat level 1."
Call it a day.
Right? Yeah, that guy's a clown. I honestly think that there's a lot more information out there about this topic that we literally could have spent the half a day talking about this shit. But I know most people won't. They'll just tune out after so long. So hopefully everything was in there was good. Eddie, what do you think so far? As far as the videos that were shown here, do you think did it kind of make sense for you? Did it kind of give you like
it was just like pretty much the only one that I just disagree a little bit with that video was the one where she just literally comes up and says, "Oh, they're all this. They're bloodsuckers. They're this and that." That's the only one that, like, it was not more of like, oh, she gave like a reasoning or something. She was just like came and attacked. You know what I mean?
Here's the reason why. The reason why that was presented that way is because the interview is a lot longer. That's because it's David Icke talking to that lady. And the reason that Greg Reese has it set up that way is because Greg Reese does like 5 to 7 minute clips, and he tries to put it all together real fast. So that's where he had to talk about this, he had to talk about this, he had to talk about this, and he had to talk about that. So he put it all together in as fast as he could, because normally they would run that on like InfoWars as like a segment in between, like Alex Jones talking about nonsense or talking about all kinds of different things. So that's the reason why it was set up that way. But otherwise, that interview is a lot longer. And I'll try to find that, and I'll put that in a link in the comments section there. But no, it's just like the Zulu Shaman one. I could have grabbed literally a 3 to 5 minute clip of him talking about the rituals that he saw, and it was literally the same thing, where they talked about going right for the intestines and eating the fat and watching, making sure that you stare directly into the eyeballs of the person while they're dying, so that way you take over their energy. So like it's in a few of these things, which is just insane, absolutely insane. But I've heard of that before. Even I don't know if it was. I don't know what the hell. Maybe it was some cartoon. Who knows? There's so many weird things put into our cartoons too as children that really fuck us all up. But no, it's interesting. So let's ask Eddie the number one question that everybody's dying to know.
Well, I think I should like gradually not jump like from.
I don't care what you say.
like we have a lot of topics to go, so I think like pace myself. Like this one, I will give it a point. Like I'll say like a 4.5.
See, you're gonna be a fucking 10 before you know it's on.
Because like I said, there's like the one that most was with the interview with the shaman, where he was like, yeah, look at everywhere has some sort of like reptiles in it, and I'm like, oh, like you like start thinking back of stuff, and you're like, that is true.
It's true. Yeah, it's everywhere. It really is everywhere. Look at all of the things you can see, and then also the other thing that we don't realize is symbolism. And like he was saying, symbolism is everywhere. And like if you look at some of these logos for these corporations, you can see it. And then the other thing too that I didn't put in here, but the Ouroboros. You've heard of the Ouroboros? Okay, so the Ouroboros is a snake eating its own tail, and that's like to show like reincarnation or kind of thing, like where it's just a continuous circle kind of thing. And if you look at all these corporations, what are most of them in? A circle. And so sure enough, you could even place that together. But you'll see Ouroboros more often, and I'll put up a little slide of the Ouroboros. But no, there's a lot of shit out there that has reptilian representation. And look at us just running away. At least we got some fancy clothes on. I like this image.
We're dressed to impress.
That's it. Not to those guys, I guess, but yeah. Yeah, we're getting away from our ritual. They're not eating us.
Apologize for not having a sombrero with the suit.
That's okay. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. I told you to take it off before we went to meet
that's what I was gonna tell you.
Masters.
It's not gonna. Doesn't feel proper.
It doesn't. You need one for sure. Oh man. So, FYI for everybody, the next ones that we're going to talk about is Chapter 5, which is barcodes, which is, again, like a page. And then the one after that is BCII, Bank of Commerce and whatever. Let's build a group. Yeah. So, the next one then, come on, BCCI. So, it's going to be barcodes next, and then BCCI, which is Bank of Commerce and Credit International, which I am curious about to get into, and I don't know how long that one's going to be, but this one was pretty long. So I want to thank you all very much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Please like and subscribe. Eddie, any final words for the beautiful people that made it this far into the discussion?
Well, just going to say we're going to see you on the next one.
That's it. You're a beautiful man.
That's it. That's it. Short and sweet.
100%. Well, thank you guys again very much. We appreciate you watching. We're going to keep putting out more information, putting out more stuff for everybody to think about. So we love y'all, and take care.